Welcome back to the How We Can Heal podcast. Today, our guest is Nyobugi Okullo, Kenyan-American trail runner and founder of the George and Hazel Okullo Foundation. The Okullo Foundation's mission is to create lasting, positive change by promoting education, healthcare, and sustainable development through their collaborative efforts and innovative solutions. Nyobugi, or Bugi as she's known, shares her journeys on the trails and between the US and Kenya, highlighting the power of connection, responsiveness, and how we can create communities that feel like family. In our conversation, we'll delve into her experiences as a trail runner here in the US, how she supported children in Kenya having access to education, nutrition, and basic needs, and how she transformed a challenging experience of loss and change into one of support and deep healing. Bugi's insights are both enlightening and motivating, offering an inspiring example for anyone looking to make a meaningful difference in their own lives or in their community. I met Bugi through our local trail community, and I'm lucky to be a part of her trail running family. Please join me in welcoming Bugi to the show. Bugi! Queen Bugi! I'm so happy to have you on the How We Can Heal podcast and to share you and your beautiful wonderfulness with this community. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I don't even think I know this. We've run together and,
Yes.
you end up talking about all kinds of different things, but how did ultra running become part of your life?
So one day I was having a conversation with this guy and I asked him what he had done over the weekend. And he said he'd attended a Brazen Race. And so I looked it up because I'd moved from Houston, right? It's not like I was running. No, I was doing karate.
Nice.
Kickboxing 3 days a week. That was the most I was doing.
Yeah.
So then I went to I kind of signed up for a Brazen Race, not knowing what else I get myself into. I think maybe a 10K. And then I got there in the parking lot. I don't know anyone. I have no friends. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
What have I done?
Yes, what have I done? And I remember walking and this guy called Jay, he's the first one who came and said, "Hi, are you new? I've never seen you." And then I think I met Andrea after that. And that's how it started.
Yes.
So then started running more and more Brazen Races. I started meeting people. And I'm always talking to people. I'm like, how's it going? How you doing? I think that's how it started. So then I ended up with this family doing this crazy stuff. So that's how I started.
Had you always run before that? Like, were you comfortable running? You were just kind of finding the events at that point?
No, I call myself the other Kenyan. Now, my mom was an athlete. Maybe I've got the genes. I ran high school, but nothing. It was just PE, right?
Yeah.
1 hour a week, cross country in high school, but that was it. Even cross country I was just, middle of the pack, nothing special.
It was nothing that was like a big part of
Nah,
identity.
not even. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how we can find these little moments of like, oh, I'm going to try that. I'll just sign up for that race. And then you meet someone and then it just becomes this big part of your life and your family. I mean, that's definitely true for me too.
I know. And then you have this family. And why I love the trails is that it's family because when you spend 6 or 7 hours with someone, you become real, okay?
Yeah.
At first you might be no, we keep it real on the trail.
Right?
Through the bad and the good. Yeah, then so then you have this family. I mean, you were 7 hours with somebody, surely.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can make friends with people and not even know their names sometimes, where you're like, you're running, I don't know, a trail, half marathon or 50K, it could be any distance. And you're maybe near someone, you kind of pass them, they pass you, and eventually you start talking and you know their whole life story, you know the names of their kids, you know where their kids go to college, you know where they work, and you're like, I can't remember their name. And if it's not written on their bib, you're like, I have to ask you a real deep question now. Tell me your name again.
Or be like me, like, how's it going? And there are not many Black or African Americans that run these trail races. And then I got to know all the directors, they come. Me, they just nice. I love the RDs. Honestly, I never met one I couldn't stand. I love.
Yeah.
And so that's how it is. And I'm like you, how's it going? But I do talk a lot, though. I'm one of the runners that I'll say, hello, how's it going? Yes.
You make your friends. You find your friends.
Make your friends as you run. Don't take it too seriously.
So what do you like about running for just your own personal life? It builds family. What else does it do for you?
I do my best thinking when I'm out running, believe it or not. I realize if I don't run in 2 days, I'm cranky. I seem to solve all my issues. I have conversations with myself when I'm
Hmm.
out there. I feel good about myself. Even if I'm having, as you know, my mother passed away, grief, it has really, really running is the only constant I've had the last 4 years since I lost my mom. It's
Yeah.
been running. And prior to that, it's just good for my psyche. Yes, my overall being. I always kid myself when my family starts to say, "You run too much." I said, "Well, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I just run. I love being outdoors. I love being outdoors.
It's therapeutic, right? And
Very
you've
therapeutic."
you've run in some beautiful places, and
Hmm.
you've lived in the time I've known you. You've lived in California, you've lived in
Yeah.
Texas, you've lived in Kenya, in these very different settings.
Hmm.
What's it like for you being in the different places?
So that's an interesting question. I had always had the fear, even at Chabot, I would stay on the trail. But then I started to go up these trails that, sometimes I wouldn't meet anybody. I hear rustling in the bushes. I used to be afraid. And I realized, yes, I have a whistle that I'm no longer afraid. So when I ran in Kenya, I would, do some hill work. And it's up there. It's not like my village has, you can call 911. Most of the time, you don't even have service.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if I call 911, there is no 911. I lived in a village for the last 3.5 years,
Uh,
right? But I overcame that fear of being out there. So but I took precautions. I always had a whistle.
Yeah.
I had my bear spray. There are now bears over there.
Yeah.
Um, but I just overcame that fear of getting out there. It's pretty out there. Just the fear of being out there by myself.
There's so much in that because I think in life we can fear doing things ourselves or being alone,
Hmm.
or we can stay in relationships just to be in a relationship, even if it's not good, right? And
Hmm.
it's like just to be with that fear of, oh my God, I'm by myself and to move through it. Definitely, like I'm a big fan of connection for healing and all of that, but there's also something to be said with just connecting with yourself, noticing what you're feeling, and in some cases moving through it or just finding ways to make yourself feel safer. Okay, I got a whistle. I got my phone. It probably isn't going to work, but
Right, right.
it's worth it too to
Yeah.
have that sense of exploration or of just following your curiosity out into the wilderness sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. And of course, yeah, so I realized that I overcame that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
because I kept going, up those hills, up those hills. It's just me, myself, and a couple of cows sometimes, deer, and that's it.
Well, you
Yeah.
also did a race recently, or sometime in the last, I don't know, it was like last 5 years. You did that race in the national park in
Oh,
Kenya.
Lewa? Yeah, 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
two
Yes.
years ago.
Oh my
That
gosh.
that must have been quite incredible.
I have never seen anything like this in my life. So it was 26 miles.
Hmm.
It's through a game park. There are choppers flying. Sometimes you have to stop the race for the animals to cross, whether it's lions and zebras and antelopes. A very interesting race. Yeah. And safety came first. So
Yeah,
they would stop the race. Very, very interesting. But what a well organized race. People come from all across the world, and I can see why it's a bucket list item for some of us.
yeah,
That was an eye opener for me. I'm
yeah.
Kenyan, but this was an eye opener.
I wonder what it's like for you being
Hmm.
an ultra runner here in the States versus being an ultra runner in Kenya. Is it different? I'm imagining it's a different group of people who are signing up for the races.
Yeah, so majority of them were foreigners because of the fee,
Okay,
right? Because
interesting.
of the fee. But these Kenyans, very interesting. That's why I refer to myself as the other Kenyans. Even here, right now, I have my honey stinger, my goose. Over there, girl, they just run through. These aid stations had water and orange slices. They're having conversations. They're
Yeah,
kicking my ass, and they're just having conversations. And GUI is up. It's they don't even bother. There's
yeah.
Coke. No, no. They had bananas and water, and they just powered through. Yes, so it's very interesting. I had to ask myself a question. It must be a marketing thing.
Hmm.
They don't normally that because I did another race after that. This was it was a 10K, and the same thing, having
Interesting.
conversations, water at most, a banana if you're lucky.
Wow.
That's it. They just run and they just run.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because I realized I spent majority of my adulthood in the States,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was a major difference. But they also are very vocal.
Yeah.
They, like when I did Lewa run through the game park, they're like, they call me auntie. Auntie, you can do it. Auntie, you can do it. You know, they can see your back of the pack. But they just, yeah. So it was very, 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 very interesting.
I want
So
to
then,
start saying that to you when we're on the trail and
auntie,
like, oh, I don't know today. I'm not feeling it.
today I'm
You're like,
auntie,
Auntie,
you
you
can do
can
it.
do it.
Auntie, you can do it.
Tell myself that too.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it. I know. I know. So that's the difference. You know, here we are, oh my gosh, I will never complain about when I went to Aid Station 3, they were out of Coke or Sprite or ginger ale. Come run with these Kenyans and you will see.
We get spoiled, right? Like Americans, when I've traveled to other countries, like we're seen as very obsessed with food and eating too much and all of that. So, but I mean, you are out, especially if you're out for a long, 100-mile race, you
Yeah.
really got to
Yeah.
fuel. So it's funny to see that difference. And it's like, okay, well, here's a banana if you're hungry. Like you have one option.
One, but yeah, yeah. And the idea of even carrying this goo, I tried to give one to someone like, no, no,
That's
no.
so interesting.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many elite runners that come
Hmm.
straight out of Kenya. And I mean,
Yes.
I've never been running there. I've never been in a running community there. So I just don't have a sense of what that's like. I have like visions I've made up in my mind of people just with ease, galloping through. And now with what you're saying, I'm like, they're taking a little bit of water, maybe eating a banana, but they're just power, just pure power running.
But you know, there's a common misconception is there's that one tribe, right? So
Mhm.
this tribe, they live up in Iten. That's where most of the runners come from. It's
Yeah.
this one tribe. So think about it this way. They've been going up and down ever since they were kids. The altitude, they acclimate, they're born in it,
Yeah.
right? You live up and then maybe school is down the mountain.
Mm.
And then they go back for lunch and come down. So it's just this one tribe,
Okay.
People have tried, studies have been done, movies have been made,
Yeah.
but you've seen them win those marathons where they finish and they're under 2 or sub 2, and they're just like, I could go a couple more.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I refer to myself as the other Kenyan,
Yeah.
because I'm not that tribe. Yeah.
Well, you gallop around with ease on the trails and talk
Oh,
to people, and
oh,
you've accomplished some long distances in your time too here.
yes, I have. And then COVID happened, and yeah, everything was state of disarray, upended our lives. I went to Kenya, but running is my thing.
Another thing that I know you've been really involved in is your family's foundation, like when you
Mhm.
spent some time back in Kenya. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So after my mom passed away, my mom and dad have been very involved in this school, and this school is like 50 feet from our home. And so, can you imagine sitting in your house, having a latte, having Starbucks coffee? Yes, I have Starbucks coffee at home in Kenya.
Yeah,
And
right.
and there's this school that needs supplies, or the kids are walking around with torn shorts. So we've always supported. So what happened one day, I was going up for my morning to up the hill, morning run, and I see this little boy and I ask him, I knew the kids 8 o'clock, they're in class, right? I ask him, why are you not in school? I was sent home for school fees. He's 5 or 6. So I said, you go back to class. So I finished my run and I went to the school and I paid his school fees.
Nice.
And that's how this whole start thing started. So then we ended up with all my friends, and 99% of them are trail runners from the States,
Mm,
gave me money. We renovated this school. We put in, it's like an American school. These kids are winning on all levels.
mm,
I feed them Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, even when I'm here. I take care of their medical. These kids had rashes and inadequate nutrition, lack
mm,
of vitamins. So I created a new menu in 2023 that is not only carbs, but protein.
hmm.
And these children, I have seen the transformation in their lives.
Wow.
So wherever I go, you'd think I'm like a mini president. Auntie, the kids come and hug you. It's so cute. So
That's
that's what we've done as a
amazing.
family is I've started a feeding program. This will be year 3 or 4. Normally, my American friends, you guys send me stuff, whether it is monetary or clothing.
Hmm.
And last year we had the first run. I created a run for them, a 5K, sponsored by Brazen Racing.
Nice. How full
Jasmine.
circle. I
Yes,
love that.
Jasmine and Sam sent me about almost 150 t-shirts, and
Mm,
we did a 5K. It was so well. It was like a brazen race in the States. It was so nice.
that's
So this
amazing.
year, those are some of the things, the initiatives that I'm going to take. But we have a website,
Hmm.
and people go in there, and my supporters normally go in when there's an ask, go in and support.
I love how organic and how relational that is. Like it just starts,
Hmm.
you're going out for your run and you see this
Yes.
kid and you're like, oh, and I'm imagining the school fees when you think about a Starbucks coffee in the States. How many Starbucks coffees were the school fees,
Right, right,
right? Like
right.
not
And,
that
and
many, I'm imagining.
right. I also give them haircuts. And I don't know, Lisa, if you've ever known third world countries, kids suffer from worms. You see, because they're always touching each other. I deworm them. I'm a
Oh,
germaphobe. I deworm them. The government allows me to do that. So I do things like that. I deworm them. And it just breaks my heart to see I'm well dressed and here's a kid with torn shorts. The one that really touched me recently was some of the boys that never had underwear in their lives.
wow.
It's not so much just feed and don't care about the rest of the things that's going on with kids. So right now we have 42 kids. I feed them Monday through Friday. Wednesday, I give them some fruit. Vitamin is very important, whether it's seasonal like oranges, bananas, and sometimes watermelon. We have plenty. Some of them had never had watermelon. They were eating the skin. My dad was like, just let them. So
Oh,
things that we take for granted in the States, it's
yeah.
not so, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, yes, on Wednesdays they get a piece of fruit. I reinvented the menu, very natural foods, but they love it.
Yeah.
It's so much better for a kid as opposed to just giving them sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's such a communal thing too. I mean,
Hmm.
kids that are right next to you, 42 kids that you've walked by and seen the tattered shorts and seen them struggling in their with their school fees or whatever else.
Yes.
And what I appreciate about that is you saw an immediate issue, right? An immediate
Hmm.
problem, and then you solve that. Hey, kid, go back to school. I'm going to go pay your school fees.
Yes.
And then looking deeper, okay, well, what about the shorts? And what about, my goodness, these kids have like, what are you eating? You're just eating sugar. Let's
Hmm.
find some natural foods and just the layers that you keep building onto it. I just imagine too when you mentioned the brazen shirts, even before that, when you mentioned ultra runners donating, I just see race shirts. I'm like, I just see this whole group of 42 kids running around with like, I ran Tahoe Rim 50 miler. And
You'll see.
like all
And
the ultra runners always have so many race shirts.
we do, and I've gotten so many from different races, and it's not only Brazen race, but it's people I met through Brazen or friends of friends of friends.
Yeah.
So I would get boxes sent to me in the village from you guys in the States, and so the whole school, the feeding program is only for the kindergartners, which are 5 and 6 year olds, and then the t-shirts were for the enough for the entire school, 130 of them. I had more than that
Yeah.
because other people keep sending. Even now, I need to come and collect. I just haven't put out a publish, but there are people waiting to give
Yeah.
me all the t-shirts. So that's what we do. It's funny, you walk around that village and it's all Brazen Racing or some Marine Mark or an ITR race, or Senna.
Right.
It's so funny. I
You've
see all
created a
different
little,
colors. Yeah.
speaking of ultra family, right? Trail family. It's like you have
Hmm.
this trail family here in
Yes.
California, and then you get involved with this thing in Kenya, and then there's this connection between the two
Hmm.
places. And so even people who've never been there with you or been to the village or met the kids, like there's still this connection of, oh yeah, I ran that race and you're wearing my shirt. I love how personal what you're doing is
I know, right?
and how
Right.
much you care. Like you just keep seeing another issue and okay, well there's worms in their hair, we're going to deworm. Okay, well
Yeah.
you aren't eating any fruit, we're going to get you fruit on Wednesdays. And maybe offering a run and just engaging and caring. And I love that there's this bridge though for you living in both
Right.
places, right? To
Right.
have the trail community be so alive.
So alive. And the school was renovated, and I put out the pictures to thank all my friends who helped me. I say that these kids are winning on all levels because whenever I go there, it's like an American school because you walk into a classroom and I put little hooks. So And we've also been giving them, all my friends, all of you have been giving me backpacks, right? So every kid has a backpack. They hang it, you're teaching them independence. Hang their backpack, and then the tables, we bought tables just for them because normally the government would give them tables like for big, older kids. No, these are just tables you sit at, like when your little daughter will go to kindergarten,
Hmm.
and it's so the only thing that's left for me that I always say is just the roofing, but everything else these kids have, whether it's pens, papers. I receive a lot of pens and papers and coloring books and crayons, and those I can buy over there. But sometimes if I get a donation, then I just ship it,
Yeah.
put in a container. So I've gotten all that. So that's why I always say these kids are winning on all fronts. And a couple 2 years ago, for example, a friend of mine gave me $300, and I was able to buy all of them leather shoes. I wanted leather, not the cheap ones that, these kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa, I even ended up getting them. I was so um um I was so touched when I saw the kids. Imagine your little daughter using an adult pit latrine. So I had them construct two toilets that are age appropriate for these kids.
Nice.
They're only 5 or 6 years old. Can you imagine? I felt like they could fall through.
Right. Yeah. Those pit
Yeah.
toilets are scary. So
And
many of us trail runners will just go in the bushes instead of
Bush.
in the pit toilet.
Team Bush, hashtag that. I am one of those. I
Right.
just, oh yeah. So they're winning. I bought them during the day. They have a swing set I bought for them because, like I said, there are 42 two classes and three teachers. So our family is paying one teacher. We wanted so that if there's one teacher can't make it, yeah, instead of waiting for the government that's not doing anything much, we're just handling it.
Wow.
We and our family and our sponsors, we take care of it. Just take care of it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Way to show up for them, right? And
Yes, to show up, and hopefully they will be adults that also pay it forward.
well, it really matters. I think kids do remember that. I worked for so long with teens and young adults, and there's all these different scales. We could talk about like more academic ways to measure, like are there adverse childhood experiences or are there resilience factors? But so much research comes down to one caring adult that can make such a profound difference. And I don't know what, it sounds like there's a lot of like lack of resources in terms of
Hmm.
what the school has or what even
Yeah.
some of the kids or their families have access to. I don't know what their relationships are like with their parents, but like if they have positive relationship with their parents, a positive relationship with you, access to pens and paper and places to sit in school and things to create art and teachers to show up and teach them, like each of these is an extra bonus and resource and support for them. And I think the love that you show up with, that's so clear to me whenever you talk about this. And I'm sure to them, I could just see them calling you auntie around the village. Like
Oh,
that has so much power in and of itself, right? The things that you're doing are an extension of that love, but the fact that you see them, you value them, and you show up,
hmm.
you solve problems and help them see the other side, like that has infinite value.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. I try in my mother's memory, and my dad is still with us. I try to practice what I was taught. Uh, we grew up, there was always people in our house, whether they lived with us or came to eat. So I know this is the right thing to do. These children come from, some of them, most of them, from very poor families.
Yeah.
So it got to the point whereby, when I see a kid with torn shoes, I can see the toes. I know what to do.
Yeah.
I know what to do.
Yeah.
Or one is unwell, I know what to do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the parents are just trying to make it, right?
Yeah.
So, for instance, on Monday, I made sure that they have beans and sorghum. Sorghum is very healthy. It's a mixture. And because maybe the night before they had boiled, Lisa, think about it, boiled collard greens
Mm.
or boiled cabbage. That's not enough to sustain this kid.
Mm.
So moving forward, I'm thinking that instead of lunch alone, maybe as I get more funding,
Mhm.
maybe offer them breakfast as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes. Yeah. I think that would close that gap because when they go back home, they're on their own. You don't know what they're being fed. It's not like us in the States. We are so privileged. A kid can have cereal for breakfast. Yes, it's got a lot of sugar or toast or something like that. But these ones, some of them. So those are some of the things that I think moving forward, as I get more sponsorship, offering breakfast would really be a good thing to do. I worry about them over the weekend and when they go home, what they're
Yeah.
going to eat. And sometimes, the bananas will be big. You see them carrying them in their backpacks
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
eat for later.
Smart.
Kids.
Of
Yes.
course. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, that's really smart and
Yeah.
strategic of them. I have
Yeah.
seen some programs where in schools I've worked in the past where they started serving breakfast at the school for the same reasons because they were like, oh, these I don't think these kids are quite getting their nutritional needs met, so let's just
Hmm.
offer it in the morning or at the early break and that
Yeah.
had actually they were tracking how it impacted attendance and how it impacted performance in school grade wise or participation wise and they
Hmm.
improvement across the board on those measures. So I think
Yeah.
it's a way to see a need, right?
Right, right. And it just doesn't end there, it's always something. We just had a meeting and my dad the other day, and we feel that the foundation, it's called the Okullo Foundation, is on track. That's why I've been here all this time because it's running and it's running well. So we're doing what we need to do for these
Yeah.
children. So the children are the priority, you
Yeah.
know. So we want it to be different to encourage our donors to see we are making a difference. These kids even have water, drinking water that people take for granted. They were drinking, it was like muddy water. I was so sickened. And so they drink water as part of the lunch. They wash their hands with soap.
Yeah.
They have baby wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, these little ones their hygiene can be questionable. So
Yeah.
I found, I don't know how they're doing. They didn't even have toilet paper, things that we take for granted.
Yeah.
These children now have
Absolutely.
toilet paper. They have
Yes.
wipes. They wash their hands. So I would go there 3 days. I'm not there, but my dad goes 3 days a week. He sits there and eats lunch with them, observes.
Nice. That's
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
It makes me think of, when I was growing up, this was like in the 80s. I remember
Hmm.
seeing commercials for, I believe at the time these were in Ethiopia where there was a lot of starvation happening, like really sad stories of
Yeah.
kids and then like the like donate, help or sponsor a kid, and I was just a
Hmm.
kid watching this like, oh wow, that's pretty extreme, right? And I know people, I myself have sponsored kids in different countries.
Hmm.
Something about the connection piece and knowing like one of the places where I sponsored was Cambodian Children's Fund. There was one of my yoga teachers, a friend and student started this whole school, right? Was there visiting, was very privileged, saw kids living in a literal dump with their families, saw the abuse that was happening, saw the alcohol, said, I'm gonna start a school. And then I'm going to feed them once a day. I'm going to feed the families once a week. Just similar to
Right.
what you're doing. And started a whole program there and even moved there and lives there now to this day. So I sponsored a kid there once. Like it's just so nice to have the connection. Like I feel
Hmm.
like the relationship and the care is really important too, right? The
Yeah.
getting basic needs met is the bottom line, is like the number one goal, but
Yeah.
being able to connect. And so when I think of you and your dad sitting there at lunch,
Yeah.
just like being there with the kids, I feel like it's like
Right.
so there's an element of healing of just like, hey, we actually really care about each other here and we're going to
Yeah.
express that. I love that it just feels very grassroots, right? Very
It,
like, I
it,
see a
mhm.
problem, I'm going to respond to it. Oh, there's another one, I'm going to respond to that. There's another one, I'm going to respond to that. I'm going to talk to my friends. Oh, look, the people at Brazen are going to sponsor a 5K. The whole thing of it just seems very organic and grassroots and
Yeah.
beautiful and just so full of love. So I just want to celebrate you for doing what you're doing. I know it's good for your heart and your soul
Thank
and
you.
you're in it for that, but like I just want to highlight and celebrate that
Yeah.
all of us can do something like this, right? We can
Right.
see a need and respond and meet it.
Yeah, it's thank you, Lisa. I never thought there are times I'm out running and I just smile. I never thought, I was minding my business in the Bay Area with my ultra runner friends.
Yeah.
Who knew I would end up in a village of all places, a village,
Yeah.
and doing some good work,
Yeah.
it is amazing. You in life, I call it a pit stop because I never thought I would be doing this and also taking care of my dad.
Yeah.
He's elderly. So I'm a caretaker and I'm doing all this. That's how I've been able to maintain my sanity and also having a very uh, uh, amazing supporting cast. My brother and my two sisters, they're always there,
Yeah.
But it's been amazing. I couldn't have done this without my Bay Area friends. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. I felt so loved. I felt the love.
Yeah. All from
Before I'd
signing
be
up for
like,
that one
oh,
brazen race.
right, changed my life.
Yeah.
Changed my life. And these children are the recipients. So
Mhm.
I can only see big things and good things. But what I also want to encourage is uh, the audience that's listening that if any one of you wants to come to Kenya, please, we have two houses on our compound. Please come stay with us. Come see what it's about. And we have Wi-Fi.
Ah, what?
I have Wi-Fi.
Okay. I'm going to sign up for that.
Please come. Bring your friends. Come with you. I have room for more than 15.
Yeah.
Come.
Let's do a yoga
Yes,
retreat as a
come
fundraiser for
on.
the kids. Let's do it.
Come on.
I like
Please,
that.
anytime you need a pit stop in life, you're tired, come over.
I love it.
Kenya is a safe country. Plus, come see what we're doing in the village. It's just so enriching and good for the soul. Sometimes it's okay because we live lives that go, 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 go.
Yep. Yeah.
hmm
And you know
hmm
the difference in culture. Like America is very go, 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 go.
Yes, we are. Go, 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 go.
To
Yeah,
the
yeah.
point where running all day on the trails feels like relaxation,
Relaxation.
right? You're like, I'm going to go run all day and take a break from this
Take a break
intensity.
for 8 hours, 6 hours, depending when the race is, right? hmm Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I want to ask you, and I
Mhm.
hope that there's someone listening that reaches out to you and takes you up on this. I really do, because I have had people extend invitations to me like this. There was a school that I was applying to work for in Massachusetts, and they had a CAP program in Costa Rica. The woman from Costa Rica was visiting for a weekend, and she said, "Come down." And I was like, "Don't tell me that because I will." And
Yeah.
I did. I showed up and I
Right.
slept on her couch. So I
Right.
hope somebody takes you up on this and
Yes.
shows up and can meet the kids and have
Yes.
just a really, like you said, soul-filling experience.
Yes. And they can stay. They get to stay as long as they want, Lisa. We have room. We have room. Plenty of room. It's safe. We have German shepherds at night. You don't have to worry.
Important to know. Important to know.
Important to know. And we have Wi-Fi. I have Wi-Fi. Yeah, we have two houses. So I just want people to come. And even if just come. If you want to visit Kenya, come. Come over. We'll hook you up with a safari. You want
There
to
you
do a
go.
safari? That's okay. We can hook you up.
I love
Yeah.
it.
But just come and see. Sometimes people just want to relax.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did want to ask you too about
Yeah.
your mom. Was your mom involved with the foundation too?
My mother was, no, she was involved with the school.
With the school?
Yeah, my dad had always. In fact, I have a sister who'd even donated desks to them. So when she passed away, and I met that little boy, because that's why I was there
Yeah.
after her burial, was now I stayed to take care of my father because you cannot even boil water. How are you going to say, I'm going back to the Bay Area, goodbye, Dad, it's been good. I
Yeah.
couldn't. And being the oldest and being African, we don't put people in homes.
Yeah.
There was nobody else. I guess this responsibility was left to me as a CEO of this company. I had no idea, by the way.
Yeah.
That's how I stayed. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's how this whole thing started. So then I decided, okay, I'm going to put a plaque up, take care of these kids. And that's how we found our purpose. The
Yeah.
grief, I guess, led
Yeah.
us to this
What was
foundation.
your mom's connection to the school? Was she working there or was she
No,
supporting?
oh no, my sister had a feeding program a couple of years before that. So her and my
Okay.
dad were managing it for her.
Okay. I
But they
see.
used to feed the entire school.
Wow.
Yes, my sister built a kitchen. So they're very involved. Like I said, it's at our gate. You enter our home and the school is right here. Turn right to the school, turn left to the gate, to our entrance to our to our home.
Wow.
So he's always been, my parents believe in education.
Yeah.
So they've always, always. So I think over 10 years, yeah, she was very involved.
And how long has the foundation been around then? Was that part of the feeding program from the past too?
No, I started this afresh. Three years.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, because it'll on the 19th of this month was my mom's fourth anniversary. So 3.5, let's put it that way.
Okay. Well,
But I registered as a 501c in here in the
yeah.
States. Yeah.
Good for you.
So that's it. The Okullo Foundation, we are up and running, and anyone wants to donate or come over or has any questions, they can reach out.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
They can go on the website.
I'll put it in
Yeah.
the show notes.
My information is on there. Or they can just text me on there. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
hmm Hmm.
So, what's next for you? You have any big races or projects coming up?
I I signed up for a running course that keeps me sane, believe it or not. Last week was the first time in my life because I'm team back of the pack party in the back. I actually ran 40 miles last week. I'm tired. My legs are tired.
I
So
bet.
I signed up for a flat 50K with trails over Texas. I haven't had a 50K. The last one was Antelope Canyon, which was way before COVID. So
Hmm.
we'll see. I hear it's flat. Houston is flat. I
Yeah.
run here, it's just flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
There's no hill. I can never find a hill, girl. I go out on the trails flat as a pancake. Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna do it. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do. I want to challenge myself this year. I want to run, sign up for and train and run for a race that's greater than 50K. So we'll see.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. One of my goals is in the best shape of my life in my mid 50s. So
Do
let's
it.
see how this is
I,
going to go. What do I have to lose, right?
I support you. I fully support it.
What do I have to lose?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
Like it's like there's something in you that's like, ooh, maybe I could do that, right? Maybe I could
right.
run that far.
Yeah.
And then the journey of it brings up all these other things, all these other opportunities and friendships and relationships and
Hmm.
people helping you build a school in the village
Right,
in Kenya, right?
right, right.
All these amazing things can come of it, but it starts with that, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could go more than 50K. I kind of want to. I want to be in the best shape of my life in my 50s. Like, yeah, and the word comes to mind like have the audacity to have those goals, but I'm like, why is that even audacious to have those goals? Yeah, have those goals. Those are great goals, you know?
But I think that I've suffered a lot from imposter syndrome, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
whereby I didn't believe in myself,
Yeah.
you know. And it's funny, the things that you can do when you believe in yourself. This has been a journey and it continues. It's still a journey, but I believe in myself more. A friend of our mutual friend, Todd.
Yes.
Todd, even before my mom got sick, he's like my trail husband.
Yes.
Bug, get up and go run. You know, in hindsight, I'm like, that's my friend. He always got me out of bed running when I just want to lie in bed and be depressed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's
Yep.
that kind of friend. Everybody needs a friend like Todd.
Yes.
Gladden.
Agreed.
He even in I'm here in Houston, he always still calls me almost every day.
Yeah.
But it's the belief, Lisa, that's what it is. Because I used to watch all of you running these crazy races, but I never thought for myself because I believed that I couldn't. I wasn't good enough, you know. And now I wake up in the morning, I'm like, the first thing I tell myself this every morning, know your worth.
Yes.
I get up and I do it. Oh,
Yes.
we have seven on the schedule. We're going to do seven. Yes. So it's
Love
the belief. It's a self-confidence. Yeah. It's amazing what you can do. There's a fine line between being arrogant, cocky, and no. I'm just confident about who I am. Maybe also age plays a factor.
and just recognizing that it doesn't help you not feeling good enough to run a long race. Like that's not helping you. That's not helping anything, right? If it's something
Yeah.
you want, if it's in your heart and
Yeah.
knowing your worth first thing in the morning and then
Hmm.
just following up, I think one of the hard things, sometimes finding inspiration is difficult, but then we
Yeah.
find it and then on the way towards a goal, we hit a snag inevitably and
Yes.
have to problem solve. Or, sometimes you do have to, well, it's pouring rain today, so I'm going to do this distance tomorrow and run on the treadmill today or whatever. We have to figure things out. But
Hmm.
sometimes in that, we don't keep promises to ourselves, right? Or we're like, oh, it's okay. And I'm a fan of adapting when we need to adapt, but
Yeah.
also remembering like seeing what's at the root of that. If the root of that is a belief that I'm not worthy of it or I can't or I'm not a person who gets these things, well then
Right.
those are some beliefs to challenge, right? Like I
Right.
am
Right.
worth it and I do
Yeah.
get to do it and why not me?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are your hopes for you've got this 50K, maybe longer. What are your hopes for the trail community moving forward?
I love the trail community because I feel they're very welcoming. I'm hoping that when people see me out there, they too can be inspired to lace up, whether they're running a 5K or a 10K, and especially people that look like me.
Yes.
And also the feeling that they should know that they're very welcome at these races. I have never felt like less than at any race that I've ever ran, you know.
Nice.
The community totally embraces us. And so if I can make a difference or inspire someone to get off the couch, if we can inspire people to get up and move,
Yeah.
and especially people who look like me, that would be a blessing
Yeah.
because the community is very welcoming. Very welcoming. I've never felt out of place.
I
I
love
was
to hear
right in,
that.
I was right in there day one.
I
So
love to hear that. And
yeah.
I mean, you're such a natural part of the community that we're a part of. And I love that you're there. I know there are a lot of conversations happening in even like big ticket races
Hmm.
about diversity and inclusion and
Diversity.
how to just get different people highlighted, not only like, yeah, get more diversity at the start line, right?
Hmm.
Whether that's gender, race and ethnicity, across the board ability, but also highlighting different athletes, right? Like
Right.
highlighting para athletes. So it's not always that we're just highlighting people who look a certain way or who
Yeah.
represent certain groups.
Yeah.
I think that conversation is happening and changing. And so I'm with you on that. I'd like to see that continue to change. I've experienced the same thing that the trail community is very welcoming. And I think in running in general, the biggest thing I've come up against is the competitiveness of really valuing, some races, not all, not a lot of the ones that we go to, but some races it's just so much about the front of the pack and the like who's going fastest, and we're going to really celebrate them. And then
Mhm.
by the time you finish back of the pack, everything's closed and there's no more food, right? Like you had that happen. I've had that happen. You're like, where'd everybody go? And do I still get my swag bag? And can I have a burrito too? So I feel like there's also that inclusiveness of pace, of body size or shape
Mhm.
and just in the trail running community even more than maybe the broader running community. I feel like there's just this inclusion effort happening,
Mhm.
right? Of
Yeah.
shifting priorities, of welcoming people in, and of just celebrating all the things we've talked about today. How much being outside in nature and moving your body can feel good, and even when we are in a place of deep grief, right? Or
Right.
moving through the really tough stuff in life, just getting out and moving your body. This morning, I was exhausted yesterday. I was so tired. And I told Alex, I really need to get out on the trail this morning. So I had an hour, went up the
Mhm.
hill. We've been up and down it together, up Brandon Trail to the
Up,
top down,
Brandon. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
hiked
Nice.
up, ran down, feel amazing now. Like sometimes we think, oh, I'm tired, so I'll rest. And that's absolutely helpful at times. But sometimes I'm tired, so I need to move, right? Sometimes
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
tired, so I need to stir up some energy. So
Yeah.
I love, like you said, Todd texting, Boogie, Boog, what are you doing?
Book.
Let's
Get
go.
up.
Get up, run.
Get up. Go run.
And there are days where all of us are like, nope, it's a rest day, and that's good. Uh,
That's okay. Yeah.
that's okay. That's great. That's part of it for sure. It's not that we're just out there pushing forever, but that there's also this welcoming invitation to
Hmm.
connect with the earth, connect with other people, connect
People.
with your body, your breath, and just, get what you get out of it that day. I've
Right.
never been kind of like a yoga class. I can't think of a run that I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't have done that, or a yoga class that I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't know why I did yoga today. Whenever I go out on the trail, even if I do something different than I thought I was going to do, or in a yoga class, if I'm in child's pose or shavasana the whole time, I usually feel better at the end. And I think there's just something about being together, about breathing, about connecting with your body. And I just love having connected with you for through trail running and the whole
Thank you.
community. It's just so full of love. I feel like there's so many amazing people out there. And given the world as it is today, like if you pick up your phone, I don't think, I've tried to curate all my feeds so I see a lot of love, but I see a lot of other stuff too. But when I get
Hmm.
out on the trail with you or Todd or any of them, it just feels like people are real, right?
The
Because
real.
this is like, there's look at that hill.
We're gonna go up that hill.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, that's why we keep it real. Like you said, we
Yeah.
talk about everything. We have time.
Yes.
We have time. And
Yeah.
so you get to know the real Lisa, as opposed to the, hi, see you at the next race next weekend. No, 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 no. You
Right.
spend 7, 8 hours with somebody you know. And and
You're
and
like,
you
girl.
girl, let me tell you something. But just nice, like you said, this is my family. I give back and then we volunteer if you're not running, like you said. Big pickup, you're there.
Yep.
It's just amazing, amazing, amazing.
It's a great community. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say to someone who's listening who maybe has been interested in running a race or just thinks,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, that's not for me. I'm not one of those people," or I'm nervous. I'm going to be judged," or things like that.
I would tell that person, go on YouTube, pull up, type in a trail race, an ultra trail race. You will see all shapes and sizes. No one has ever told me, oh, you're this or that. That is the beauty of trail racing. It's such an accepting community. So I would tell that person, running is the cheapest sport. Just lace up, get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And some of this race, you can even walk it.
Yeah.
Start with a 5K or a 10K is 6 miles. 5K is 3.1 miles. Just start small, baby steps. You
Yep.
can do that. Or challenge yourself to a 10K if you've never, from couch to whatever. Just think of it as something where you get to go. You went to the farmer's market. Sometimes you have to walk to the farmer's market. Well, this one, you're out there with 200 or 300 of your friends, people encouraging you along the way. There is no trail race that you will go to and no one talks to you.
Mm.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Somebody will encourage you, somebody will offer to walk with you. You just meet people, even
Yeah.
if you're an introvert.
Yeah.
Somebody has to talk to you.
Yep.
Always love it.
There's people, there's snacks.
Always.
Here in the
Oh, yeah.
States, there's a lot of snacks.
Oh, no. You get everything. So just try.
Yeah.
Just make it a point to get out there and try. The world we live in, we need each other.
Yeah.
We need each other. No man is an island.
Yeah.
Just try. Look up a race that's close to where you live and go on the website. You might even, if you're afraid, don't have transportation, you can go on the page and somebody will ride with you,
Yeah.
will offer to ride with you. Yeah. Or
And
give you a
sometimes
ride.
there's even people, often with each race, there's people who get a bib and then they can't show up, so they're giving
Hmm.
it away, right? I think
Yes.
there's also sometimes discounts available if you contact
Yes.
race directors.
Hmm.
There's also even programs, I know different programs in the Bay Area that are specifically strategically located in lower income communities to help with access. So if there's a bridge like that that you're looking for, I mean, you could probably find a discount code or a sponsor or someone
Yes.
who's just like, hey, I can't make it anymore. Somebody take my bib. So that level of access too is often figure outable, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Always. There's always, yeah. You can always get to a race, We carpool, and the race directors are very supportive.
They're
Hmm.
usually in it because they love it and they want to share it.
Share it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Boogie, you've been through a lot in life. I know you lost your mom 4 years ago. I want to send some extra love out to your mom today. I wish she could.
Thank
Well, maybe
you.
she is listening and into our
Yes.
podcast, right? I would love for her to be hearing and so proud of you and all the beautiful work you've been doing in her honor. I think it's something to really celebrate.
I never used to give myself credit in the past, but I do give myself credit now for, I'm always like, you are doing what you need to be doing. Mom would be proud of where this foundation is headed. We are hoping to grow, and I'm always begging the villagers for, let your kids come. Where else would a child get poor? These are poor people fed,
Yeah.
so I have so much to give them. I've been on this quest right now. I've been in the States for almost 7 months. I have clothing to give them. I just shipped it. There are two shipments. One's about to get there. And it's not so much to give them. I just hope to give them some love and that people care. And
Yeah.
especially my friends, American friends, they care so much, that somebody cares about them. Because some of these children, when you go to hug them, you notice it's hugging is not even part of their nature. They're afraid. And
Wow.
then after that, they see you and now they hug you every time they see you.
Yes.
So I hope that they will grow up to be
Yeah.
outstanding citizens and give back.
Yeah.
It's about giving back.
Yeah. Well, you're paying it forward. And I think when people
Yes.
receive that and see the value for themselves, that
Mm.
naturally, right, that empathy given becomes empathy shared, right?
Shared. Yes.
Really beautiful.
Hmm.
So what this is feels like such an obvious question. I always like to ask it at the
Oh,
end. I
please.
feel like I already know the answer, but maybe something else will come to your mind. What brings you hope?
What brings me hope is that kindness and empathy and compassion still exist.
Hmm.
We might see all this negativity in the world, but there are good people out there. There are people who wake up and want to make a difference.
Mm.
No, we are not so, in the past, oh, Americans were inward looking. No, we are not inward looking. Americans are some of the most generous people in the world. Maybe I'm plugging them because I'm one of them, but for me, I've seen it. I live it, right? This foundation wouldn't be there would be in existence, but not at this level if it wasn't for people giving, reaching out, always asking, how can I help? And one day I actually shed tears because someone just asked me, how can I help? I mean, I asked myself, when was the last time someone asked me that? How
Mm,
can I help? What can I do? How can I support you? So I said, well, I need clothing. All right, I can buy it here. So I just want people to know that I live my life based on being the best version of myself and being true. I never had children, but maybe this is God's way, you know. I raised my siblings, but I don't have children. But maybe this is the way.
yeah.
This is his gift back to me that, okay, you didn't push him out, but I got all these kids. I got 42 kids.
Yes.
Right.
And they
Right.
love you.
And oh yes, Auntie, oh, they keep honey. You'd think I'm running for public office.
I love it.
Auntie, auntie. Yes. So auntie's busy.
Auntie
Spending
for
the time.
president.
Right, right. Yes. And on some Fridays, I just feel it. I'll go buy cupcakes like you do in the States and just go and give them candy. They're kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
cupcakes. Who doesn't like cupcakes?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Boogie, for everything you're
Thank
doing,
you,
for being such a
Lisa.
beautiful soul and person. I'm so glad that I've just had the opportunity to connect with you and to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this. You are my dear friend. And when I saw your text, I was like, woo-hoo. God continues to bless me. I am so glad. I feel blessed and I feel very loved. I'm not alone in this endeavor, and
Yeah.
I will never be alone as long as you guys are there. We're
Yeah.
in this together, Tomorrow it might need my help for something. But please come and visit. If you want to come to Kenya, please let me know.
I
You're
love it.
welcome, all of
I
you.
love it. I love it. And I
Yes.
just have to celebrate officially your haircut because, oh my goodness,
You
it's
love it?
so
I do.
amazing.
I feel free.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I felt, when she cut it, I told her, cut it. And
Yes.
that's one of the things I was talking about confidence. I didn't believe in myself, but Lisa, something happened in all this. Maybe
Uh-huh.
like you said, the healing and you know who you are
Mm-hmm.
and what you want. And
Yeah.
so I'm so happy about my hair. It's
And
even
those
easy as a runner, right? I don't have to sweat it anymore.
as a runner,
Sweating
as a
like you.
yogi. And for those who are just listening, a Boogie went from long, long. The last picture I have with you, your hair
Yeah.
was how long? I was like,
Yeah. Extensions, always. You've never seen me without braids.
really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then just it's just right up on her head now, right up to the
Right, right.
top. Uh-huh.
Being
Beautiful.
dramatic. Stepping into 2025 like a boss.
Like a boss, like a boss.
Yeah,
I love it,
yeah.
Boogie.
Thank you so
So
much.
grateful to have you on the show.
Yes.
And let's go to Kenya. Let's go to
Let's go come on down, girl.
listeners. Come on down. We're
Let
going
me
to
know.
Kenya.
You're welcome.
I love it. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to go to howwecanheal.com to sign up for email updates. You'll also find additional trainings, tons of helpful resources, and the full transcript of each and every show. If you love the show, please leave us a review on Apple, Spotify, Audible, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe and keep sharing the shows you love the most with all your friends. Visit howwecanheal.com/podcast to share your thoughts and ideas for the show. I always love hearing from you. Before we wrap up for today, I want to be clear that this podcast isn't offering prescriptions. It's not advice, nor is it any kind of mental health treatment or diagnosis. Your decisions are in your hands, and I encourage you to consult with any healthcare professionals you may need to support you through your unique path of healing. Also, everyone's opinion here is their own, and opinions can change. Guests share their thoughts, not that of the hosts or sponsors. I'd like to thank our guests today, everyone who helps support this podcast directly and indirectly, especially Alex. Thanks for taking care of the babe and the fur babies while I record. Last but never least, I'd like to give a special shout out to my big brother Matt, who passed away in 2002. He wrote this music, and it makes my heart so happy to share it with you here.